Hello friends, and welcome back to another Fireside chat. The cold weather is setting in and I'm sat here with a herbal tea just to help me through this conversation. It's been quite a while since I've put out any content on this channel for a number of reasons. I've recently been successful. I say recently, it was September time, where I started a new job, and it's a job that I was trying for a very long time to acquire. And my topic for today's video, today's talk, is maintaining your intensity and drive even when you attain specific goals. So I've spoken before about the importance of goal setting with regards to your own personal development and career goals and aspirations and so forth. The key thing for me is, what do you actually do? How do you behave when a goal you've been working towards for a long time actually is realized? And how do you step up your efforts and reassess things with regards to how you're going to move forward? And this has proven to be a little bit difficult for me in the last couple of months. I was probably trying for about 2 years to get this role. I mean, having finished a degree in about 2013, I was trying to get a bursary, which is essentially funding to do further study at PhD level. And I probably interviewed about 7 or 8 times over the last 2 years, so between 2013 and summer of 2015. I had about 7 or 8 interviews, and with each one it gradually got more and more bewildering or disillusioning, to me anyway, because I was trying so hard to get it, because it's really what I wanted to do is pursue an academic or research career. What I was able to do after finishing my degree was get some work as a teaching assistant, and also as a research assistant as well. And to be honest, that work has been invaluable in terms of bettering my skills and knowledge. Much better, in fact, than actually my degree. So yes, it formed the underlying basis of the things that you have to know, but with regards to internships and unpaid work that frankly a lot of us have to do, no matter what the discipline, no matter what area you're in, I think that within certain limits of your own circumstances, it's absolutely crucial to do that work. During this time, I was doing this for about 2 years until I actually got successfully got a position, I should say. And during this time, there were periods where, and there still are periods where, financially things have been difficult, purely because I was working on variable hours contracts, so you don't actually know how much you're going to earn on a monthly basis. It's anyhow. And of course I was paying off loans, and really it's the first time in my life where things have been extremely difficult, and I've needed a lot of help from people around me, family members and things, to actually realise those dreams. And I know obviously there's a lot of people out there that don't have access to that network, so I have been extremely fortunate. But I was eventually successful, and now that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's just down to me to do the work. That being said, over the last 2 years I've worked extremely hard. There have been days where I've been getting up at sort of 5 a.m. and finishing at 8 at night, due to numerous work-related things in terms of my own reading, my own self-development with respect to the role. So having had this goal of obtaining this funding and having license to study for a further 3 years and actually obtain a PhD at the end of it, and hopefully on my career plan it's going to branch off and I'm going to end up pursuing research work. The realization when I actually got the call and they were saying, we want you to, you're the chosen candidate, it was very difficult to take it in, because I'd had sort of 6 interviews at different institutions and they'd all come back in the negative. So I'd got to sort of the final shortlists of people and just narrowly missed out. But I always had this goal that I knew I could get to eventually, no matter how many times I got rejected, that I wanted to attain it. So it was just a case of me adding to my CV more, adding to my skills, practical skills and theoretical skills as well. And I knew eventually that they couldn't keep shutting the door in my face much longer. And I think a lot of people do eventually throw in the towel, and I don't blame them. But actually, now I'm in this position where I've got the job, and that explains sort of why I've been doing less videos on this channel, because I just haven't had the time. It sort of says, I've had the feeling that I've got the role now. I'm still going to work hard, I'm still going to keep the intensity going, but the last 2 years have taken a substantial toll on me. If for example I had a woman in my life, whether it be as a partner or worse still, marriage, I wouldn't have been able to do it. And thus I wouldn't be in the job. That's really where the sort of MGTOW philosophy has helped me, because it's basically allowed me to focus on that horizon, on that goal, and I was eventually able to successfully achieve it. Obviously, the PhD bursaries and funding is highly competitive, as it is everywhere, no doubt across the Atlantic or anywhere in the world, to be honest. And the amount of high quality, extremely intelligent, very clever people applying for these pots of money, I do feel very lucky, but also I feel as though I've earned it, in terms of the amount of work I've put in, over the last 2 or 3 years, or even when I started my undergraduate work. So the key for me, I had a meeting with a colleague who I've been fairly close to over the past few years. And he basically said, you've got to keep up the intensity of exactly what you were doing before. And this is bearing in mind that I've not had a holiday per se where I've gone abroad. There's so many places I want to see, and I want to tour around the world. I haven't been abroad really in my life, to be honest, so I've got a huge bucket list of places that I want to go and see. I've got a huge list that now, in my allocated leave, I'll be able to get away and see. But I suppose my point is that I've expended so much mental energy and had so little time to devote to my own well-being and health, that it feels almost fraudulent. And now hopefully I'll be able to, have some time for myself, but also continue to bust my ass working towards the next goal, which is obviously the attainment of that PhD qualification and the production of a thesis that I'm proud of. I mean, it seems almost fraudulent with a channel such as mine, Simply Strength, whereas, originally my thinking around this was to have a focus on almost strength training and, have the MGTOW philosophy as almost to complement that, and to complement a lot of the other personal development work that I've been talking about. But it hasn't panned out that way. It's taken a lot more focus. It's had a lot more focus on the MGTOW philosophy, but also my own thoughts on personal development. There's been very little talk about strength training, purely because I've not had the time to devote to that, and it's in my opinion it's not been good enough. And I still think that even no matter how hard I was working, there was time enough to attend the gym and put in the work, and because ultimately your own health and well-being is what matters. So hopefully I'll be able to rectify that, get back in the gym and start lifting some iron again. I think that's extremely important, and at this sort of age, well, any age, you should be able to develop your strength, develop not just physical but mental strength. I think that's ultimately what I've been focusing on a lot, is the mental strength, because the rejection from these positions in these interviews, I mean, there was one interview that I prepared for 9 months, and I had that in, I think it was March or April this year. I prepared for it. I contacted a member of staff at this institution and told them that I was very interested in their line of work, and we worked together to prepare a proposal over about a 9-month period, and he gave up a lot of his time for free to help me with that. And I was very grateful, and I did learn an awful lot from doing this, even though it was, I had to prepare for 6 or so interviews, putting proposals together, and unpaid, and in addition to my own paid work. And a lot of people have to go through that sort of workload. And I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm just sort of saying this is what I had to go through to ultimately get to where I've got the job that I wanted. And it's a difficult job, but the job is made so much easier if you enjoy it, and it doesn't feel like work sometimes. So the process now is to consolidate and to continue paying off the loans, get into a position where I can put some money behind me, and also hopefully partition some money to have a holiday in a place where I've been intending to go probably since my mid to late teens, which is it's going to be somewhere in the US, I would suspect. It's probably going to be New York or LA, or it's going to be one of those. There's so many places I want to go in North America, not just the United States but Canada as well. There's Australia, South Africa, and also continental Europe. So it's a list as long as my arm, maybe even longer. So that's something that's on the horizon. That's another of my goals in life, but not just from a career perspective. So I'm really keen to hear from you guys out there. How do you maintain your intensity? Whether you own your own business or you have your own career plan and you're working through that, and you might have had to change things and go down different routes, different alleyways to get to where you need to be. How have you dealt with the rejection side, and also how have you continued to strive and continue to develop once you've reached a goal that you've been driving towards for such a long time. The last 2 years felt very long to me, and I kept having to do, different jobs, different tasks for free as well as paid work just to build the CV. And I mean, when you get the CV from the middle of 2015 and compare it to my CV in the start of 2012, it's not on the same planet. And it has been worth the effort. It's been hard, but it's been worth the effort. So how do you guys go about maintaining your intensity, and how do you keep on striving towards the next thing, the next goal, the next dream? Because for me, it's been very easy to do that up until the last couple of months, I think. The last couple of months, it's almost like I'm burnt out in a sense. And I just wanted to know if anyone else has suffered from burnout or fatigue or anything like that. Personally, I don't think it's as bad as that in my own case. I think that it's just me having to readjust to different things. I mean, I'm loving the job. It's fantastic. It's a lot of work, but it's work that I enjoy. And I'm going to have more time for myself and more time to invest in my own mental and physical health as well. So let me know your thoughts. I'm really interested to hear what you guys have to say about meeting these goals. And hopefully I'll see you again in the very short term. So thank you again for listening, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.